What's up, Juventini? Welcome back to the AJC, your channel dedicated to La Vecchia Signora. It is match day. We got Juve set to go head-to-head with Lecce in what has to be 3 points. Today, fellas, winning is the only option, all right? And we've got a bunch in the news that went down today. We've got birthday shout-outs. We've got betting problems. We've got transfer rumors. We've got absolutely everything to talk about. We're going to have a lot of fun. I'm stoked to have Paolo and Trim with me for this one. Fellas, how you doing? Paolo, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Bert. Good morning, Trim. My hair's a mess, so I'm a little... But I love the idea of kicking Lecce's ass, so I'm feeling good.
There we go. There we go. Trim, how you doing, brother?
Good, good. Looking forward to this one today. Like you said off the top, it's got to be 3 points. There's no excuses today, so let's go get after it, man.
That's right. That's right. Tuna saying all-time kit right there, Trimmy with the Palace.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to have some fun. We're going to have some fun here. We've got a bunch to talk about. First things first, like I said, there's a birthday shout-out. Today, the one and only Marcello Lippi celebrates his birthday. 77 years young, Marcello Lippi. All right. 405 matches in charge of Juve, 227 victories. 104 draws, 74 lost. 5 Scudetti, Champions League, Supercoppa, Intercontinental Cup, 1 Coppa Italia, and 4 Supercoppas. Awesome. My favorite of all time when it comes to managers. Obviously, his first stint with Juve was 94 to 99, and that's right in my wheelhouse of when my whole Juventus journey began. So just absolutely love Marcello Lippi. And the 2006 World Cup was just a nice little touch to the Juve world for me, especially with guys that were there like Buffon, Del Piero, Camoranesi, at the time Zambrotta. Yeah, it was awesome. Guys, thoughts on Lippi? Anything to add to Lippi, Paolo, Trim?
A beauty. Love that, man.
Yeah, and
Thank
the
you,
cigar.
Lippi. Thank you for
Come
everything.
on. The cigar is just
Yeah, a
something
nice
about a
touch on the
coach,
sideline for sure.
and a stogie. Something
Yeah.
about it. Something about that man on the sidelines with the stogie. Love it. Now, is it right to start this off with what grinds my gears? Should we get into that? It does tie into the news and what we had going on this week yesterday with this betting thing. And McKennie and Perrine are 2 of the players to be investigated. Here's what grinds my gears, fellas. I come out here, I literally, verbatim, just repeat what all the outlets have put out there, that there is an investigation. 2 players from Juventus are involved. And then I am dodging bullets for the rest of the day from people that say, what are you doing? You need to defend the badge. What on earth does sharing the news have to do with defending the badge? I will be right up there with anybody defending the badge, but this has absolutely nothing to do with defending the badge. It's out there. I didn't create this. I didn't fabricate this news. The 2 of them are being investigated for their involvement right now in what seems to be only, and fingers crossed only, online poker gambling. It could just be a fine. Sports Justice will look at it and they'll determine if anything needs to go further. I don't understand why people can't figure out that I'm not creating this. It's out there. I'm just simply filling everybody in. I will say this, though. We might pay these guys too much money if they've got nothing better to do with the money, or they have a surplus of cash and that this is like the best thing that they can come up with. What happened to the good old days? Going out, having a couple drinks, chasing women. Enough with this gambling crap. It's illegal for you guys to do so just knock it off. That's I feel a lot better now. So thanks, fellas. Thanks. All right.
Glad you got that off your chest.
Yeah. So just to clarify, we're not going to spend a bunch of time on this, but for anybody that doesn't know, because Tonali's name, Fagioli's name have emerged in this whole thing, it's because it really stems off of that. And again, none of these particular players are being hit for any sports betting up until now, but it all stems from that. So how it worked was Fagioli and Tonali, apparently a bunch of these footballers were like betting through them. There's two guys that are intermediaries essentially for the gambling ring, etc., through these sites. They would use their accounts. There was also a store in Milan that essentially was the front. So when you go to settle your debts, you get an invoice from this jewelry store. Sometimes you may get a watch that you paid 2 or 3 times as much the value in order to settle your debt for. Sometimes you wouldn't even get that watch, but you would get the invoice for something out of this, and they've tracked it all, and this is what's going on. It's an absolute joke. And man, Tonali and Fagioli, when I started hearing stuff like this, like, you really got to be smart. But again, we give them too much money. That's it for the gambling side of things. And for anybody that is gambling and it's maybe getting out of hand or whatever, do so responsibly. If you need help, reach out. There are hotlines for that. Keep it classy, okay? Take it easy. Take it easy. Now, we get to other news. We get the price tag on Mr. Tonali. 70 to 80 million euros. Just what the rumors state. A bunch of fans have said too much. Back down, back out. Let's go with the theory that we qualify for top 4, which, hey, let's make it happen. And we're good. Let's say maybe a sale happens. We're good. We're strong. Let's say we could tackle that. There's a good chunk of the fans that say too much money. Do not do it for Sandro Tonali. But I want to hear from you fellas. Would that stop you? Let's say in theory you can do it. Trim, would that price tag stop you?
No, not initially. I mean, I think there's a deal to be had there. So I think you just approach the club in Newcastle and you just talk to them, because, I mean, I typically don't put a lot of stock in certain rumors about certain clubs wanting certain players, but I mean, there's been a lot of smoke about them and Douglas Luiz and wanting Douglas Luiz or being interested in Douglas Luiz. So I mean, if there's a deal to be had there where you can include him and some cash, then I'd go for it. The 70 to 80, I think a lot of people are just kind of nervous / scared of what happened this summer with going in for Coop Miners at 60. And, a lot of people feel like hasn't justified that price tag to this point, which is fair, but I still think that there's a player there that can justify that price tag. Just, you got to give him some time. I don't know. It just might take him a little while to get adjusted and, bearing the weight of the shirt. Right. But I think that's, for me, the biggest sense that I get is a lot of people initially just look at Coop's price tag and say, well, if was 60, they're kind of scared off by that. But I think Tonali is definitely worth that money. And if there's a chance for us to get him, I would definitely look into it.
All right. And Paolo, does that price tag turn you off?
I think once you get to 80, it starts to be a problem. For 70, I think it's worth it. He's an all-around player, a great player, impactful player, box to box, can do a lot of things. I think for 70, I would do it.
That's funny. That's what my main comment kind of out there was. I'm convinced by Tonali. I mean, I have no question marks around him and the performances that he could put forward, what he could bring. Like, I have little to no doubt in him as a player. That's why I'm like, 70 mil? That's my max. We're going over that. That's kind of getting tough. It's getting difficult. We can maybe get something from Luiz towards this. It would eventually break us even on the books, but it would help with that payout on Tonali just a little bit. Like, that's the thing. If you're breaking even on him in that move, ultimately you're still kind of, the way football finances work, at a full pop scenario. it's very, very complicated because he still stands at so much on the books. Maybe there's another move that has to be made. Cugino Eddie literally says, not at the expense of Cambiaso. So we got to wait and see here, but the price tag apparently is set for him. When it comes to Cambiaso, full focus on Juventus. For now, Fabrizio Romano this week says Man City still on him, and they might come knocking in the summer again. We saw how quick he was to strike up that agreement. Let's see how things change, and let's see what Juve's intentions are with two of the big assets that they have in Cambiaso and Yildiz. Like, let's see what offers come in, what happens. I don't think anybody wants to see either one of them go, but it's always going to be in the detail. What's on the back side of it? What happens with the build? Who can we get without sacrificing these guys? Might be the question we need to start looking at. You know, how does your team shape up without that big sale? Do you get enough power? When we start looking at some of these names, we're getting pretty iffy around a lot of the players. Osimhen's going to be huge money too. There's a lot of the big chunk of the fan base that wants Osimhen. He's going to be huge. Big salary, big fee. So something's got to give. Unless we're looking at Jonathan David and bringing him in. I told all you guys in the AJC members chat, I got a little news that it's pretty damn close with Jonathan David. A lot closer than media's making it sound. And that, he could be it. Mirko Di Natale had an interesting little blurb that didn't get a whole lot of focus put on it, but he did claim that the preference is Juve for the player, and that, it might shake up. We'll wait and see. Lookman, we got his price tag. It's Atalanta. What do you think it was going to be? 60 million euros. Come on. We knew that was going to be it. If we wanted their cafeteria staff, it was going to be 60 million euros. If we wanted their groundskeepers, 60 million euros. That's what it all is. But apparently he's not first choice, according to Nico Schira. And that they would be willing to go down to 40 million euros. Juve might look to involve a player. I'm kind of like over this Atalanta thing in general, and I'm not really hyped up on Lookman. Am I alone here, Paulo?
No, I don't think so. I think he's overpriced. I think he's a good player. It's another Gasperini system player, I think. You put him in a Premier League squad and then count the goals from there. I don't see him as being a star. I see him as being a solid player, but not a star. I wouldn't spend that money on him.
Yeah. Trim?
Yeah, for me, I like the player, but I was pretty clear in the summer that, Coop was going to be the one and only guy that I wanted out of that Atalanta squad. And then moving forward, okay, obviously there's still Retegui. Like, I'm very intrigued by Retegui, but I don't see how Juve can manage to snatch him out of there now, especially with the season that he's had. So I think taking all those things into account, I don't see, like you said, Lookman being the top choice for the attack. Like, there's other options, like you just pointed out, with David on a free if he's willing to come. Osimhen, for me, the thing that scares the hell out of me about Osimhen is the fact that he's owned by Napoli. That's why I've been very down on Osimhen. Like, I will never discredit the player and his talent and what he can do if he came, but dealing with De Laurentiis, we know how it's going to be. Like, I just don't even want to go down that road. So there's other options. So to the point of Lookman, I would be looking elsewhere first. He'd be a little bit lower down the list for me.
Yeah, I've got some bad vibes around Osimhen with the way it went down, even at Napoli, with his agent and the activity, the involvement from both of them. The fact that you lose him to AFCON, you're going to lose Lookman to AFCON too. The price tags, like, I just getting bad vibes just from all of it. It's not a big thing. We've got Dells asking, are we selling or are we terminating Eric Milik? You can't sell someone that's not even fit and still not fit throughout a whole year. That's going to be a termination. This is the reality. We talked about it on yesterday's daily video, and you've got Kolomuani that's up in the air. You've got Vlahovic that's going to hit the market, and you've got Milik who's getting terminated. Club World Cup's coming up. You got 0 strikers potentially going into that tournament. I mean, I'll be around for DC and Philly, and I'll give it a go. But I haven't had the ACL repaired. Apparently, MRI was inconclusive, and I got to go through rehab, so that's going to be great. But listen, we got to sort this out. Hojlund. Rasmus Hojlund comes up in the rumor mill, and fans have said this is it. We have reached full-blown banter era, okay? So listen, with Hojlund, I've always been pretty vocal. I never agreed with the price tag from when he left Atalanta on one good year. I mean, good for them making that move, but I had a couple come at me over last year's. Last year was decent, but this year has been a really, really big struggle. I'm just going to call it how it is. For me, it's a lateral move at best to Dusan, and I'd actually go as far to say it's backwards. It's backwards. He does some things better. I think he's quicker. I think he's better on the ball, but he ain't going to score you those worldies that Vlahovic can pull out of his ass sometimes here and there. But, Paolo, I know you can really speak to Hojlund. What are your thoughts on him as a target?
Yeah, my dad's from Northern Italy. My mom's from Northern England. So Man U's a team that we followed as well. But he came at a high price. A lot of his Atalanta goals were using his physicality, his speed, getting those kind of crease crashers. His effort, his hustle, his desire is never a question. He's young, he's physical, he's talented. But when Man U got him, they realized that, they couldn't give him service, number one. So if we can't service Dusan, we won't be able to service Rasmus. Also, I think you want a more veteran striker, somebody with a bit more experience. Rasmus needs years. He's not the finished product. And he's really not great at, like Lukaku will hold up the ball, turn his back to the net, make some nice plays, connect, give and go with people. He's not really that guy. Now, he might be, but he's not yet. So you're not going to really get that kind of collaboration from him up top. And his confidence is at an absolute low. He's had good results playing in Europe. At Champions League last year, Europa this year. In the Premier League, he struggled. You mark him tight. His movement in the box when he doesn't have the ball, people question his positioning. So there's a lot of issues there, and he won't be cheap because Man U is broke. So there's no good way to look at it, unfortunately, for a young kid who's physical, bright-eyed, talented, but really in the wrong position, in the wrong place at the wrong time. I don't see anything there for us, definitely. And I kind of am getting a bit tired of us going down the list of strikers from Gyökeres or Šeško to maybe Osimhen, and then just it gets worse. So I'm discouraged, and unfortunately Rasmus isn't the answer.
Yeah. Trim, what are your thoughts when Hojlund popped up there?
Yeah, another name just kind of, added to the list of many, and just kind of right now I would say more like mediocre. It doesn't excite me by any means. And then to Paulo's point, he's going to command a high price because of the club he's owned by, and they're in a little bit of difficulties, and they're going to try to move on from the player and try to recoup some of that cash that they sent to Atalanta this summer. So I can understand people trying to justify it from that standpoint, saying, buy low, sell high, buy him on a downturn, and hopefully he comes back and turns it up with us. But, my fear is that, Man U is the soul snatcher, I call them, the soul snatcher club. They just take everything out of players. And I mean, to be fair, players that have left there have gone on to do well and play a lot better. So there is that. But he would be lower on my list for sure, especially with the names that are out there right now associated with our club that we could potentially be looking at. He's definitely somewhere closer to the bottom. Like he'd be bottom of the barrel for me.
Yeah. It doesn't do a whole bunch for me. I can understand the situation and the predicament once they brought out the details. Once they started to mention that, like, Man U could be open up to a loan, then it's like, okay, this makes complete sense because of the situation that we're currently in and what's going to happen with those other guys. Kolo Muani, PSG might not open up to that first-year loan. And I don't think Juve is going to go out and just buy him outright this summer. I think the loan was a critical part that they needed. I still have question marks even with Kolo Muani, but I would definitely probably go that route over Hojlund.
Yeah.
The thing is, you still need help beyond that. So I think Kolo Muani right now is the key to what happens up front. If you get that loan there, you're going to get one player coming in. And I don't believe it's going to be Lookman. I don't believe it's going to be Osimhen. I don't believe it's going to be like if Kolo Muani gets a 1-year loan, I could see them making their approach and going after Jonathan David and solidifying that, or Retegi. And I'm thinking that those are the two that are probably higher up that don't seem to be as far as the media talks go. So I'd probably be looking at that. One thing that's come up with all this transfer news and all these rumors is something that's still kind of sticking with me. And that's that we just are not linked with any winners experience. Like, are we ever gonna like look to bring in like some actual experience and some serious players that have achieved some serious feats in the game? Like, it can't just be all in this one little box that Giuntoli's come in and Juve's like, no, this is our age bracket. Anyone outside of that doesn't fit. This is our finance. Like, this is where we want to be numbers and nobody else. Like, that's it. It can't be that way when you're building a team. Like, we severely lack solid experience from winners. And that's one thing that every time I see this list, no matter if you're looking at the back line, you're looking at the midfield, you're looking at the attack, where on earth is the experience coming from? Or do we even care? I care. Do you guys care? Are you concerned by it? What do you guys think? Trim? Are you concerned by that?
Yeah, like, I mean, for me, I think just it kind of, I don't know, I find it across all sports, like, you do need a little bit of experience back there. And so it's funny, oftentimes people attribute experience to age and think of older players, but that doesn't always necessarily mean that they're older in age. It's just guys that have been around, played in big competitions, played in big trophy matches, whatever you want to call it, right? But that being said, yeah, you do need a little bit of more experience and age within the group, within the squad. Because if you have a bunch of young guys who haven't won anything, it's very difficult to win because they've never experienced it. They don't know what it's like. So you got to bring kind of that intangible into the locker room, and I think it goes a long way. So it's definitely something that, I mean, now that we're kind of bringing it up and talking about it, discussing, you kind of notice with Giuntoli, especially the way that they pushed out a lot of the guys this summer, right? And we're kind of talking about how the season's gone so far and who they've pushed out, and there's no voice or doesn't feel like there's that leadership quality within the dressing room. We got Locatelli, but that's about it. Even him, like, yeah, it helps. He's won the Euro, so he kind of makes up for it in that sense, but wouldn't hurt to have a little bit more. That's for sure.
Yeah. And your thoughts on it, Paulo, this situation not being linked with any real experience?
Yeah, I think Trim put it well. You do need that experience. And we're just talking about Rasmus, right? One of the main problems that he's having at Man U is that he doesn't have an experienced striker like an Osimhen or somebody there to look at and watch and learn from and sub in at the 80th minute and try and pick up where that experienced player had left off. We don't have the depth at positions, and also we don't have the experience at positions. And you do need that experience. And I mean, think about it. We're Juve. We are arguably top 3 club in the world by brand, by respect, and by stature and accomplishment. Um, and we're talking about giving a loan to Man U for a guy who's not working out to pay his wage while he comes here to learn and maybe be our striker for a year. Like, it's really disturbing that we
Yeah.
don't have people lining up to be our striker, and experience is part of that. And it says something, because we need experience and we need great players or really strong players on our roster. We need a few.
Yeah. Yeah, you've got to find that balance, that happy medium. The question's up there. Do we have anyone that's won the Scudetto outside of like Perin and Pinsolio being a part of those squads? I'm trying to think, and I don't think there is, because all the experienced guys are gone now. Like, that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. And
There
even
isn't a Scudetto winner
a guy
on
like
that side.
Loco would have came after, right? Like, he was brought in after.
Rugani would be it if he returns.
Yeah.
And I did that video on all our guys that are out on loan. Thanks for the good feedback, everybody. It seemed everybody enjoyed the rundown on everybody. Rugani maybe returns, and that's an option I'd probably look at with one more year on his contract. Whatever, a decent salary, a pretty good salary, especially for a guy that's 5th or 6th on the depth chart, but he's happy to be 5th or 6th. I'd probably go that route and bring him back and bring that depth. But the experience is something that I'm going to be looking at, is why. Like, you've got to at some point make it. And yes, the salary falls in line, as Dells brings up. It's probably salary, whatnot. We can't afford to pay those winners. But guess what? You're saying goodbye to a major salary issue pretty quick, which is that nasty contract that Duchan's on. And then we could sort it out from there. But you can't just, like I said, you can't just make rules and always follow those guidelines. It's going to be what the team calls for. And right now, in my opinion, this team is screaming for experience and a couple experienced players, serious experience, serious winners. There's none there. And yeah, I question if they're going to be able to, raise that bar, hold standards, etc. It can't all just be a coach and that's it, and rah, rah, rah. I mean, you've got to fill out the holes. So it'll be something worth tracking. But yeah, the rumor mill, it's going to get crazy. It's going to get wild. And yeah, we're still got a ways before that summer mercado hits. Those rumors aren't going to go away. Calafiori even finds himself back in the mix, apparently, as we're going to go back to the well on that one. It ain't happening. The time passed. It ain't going to be this summer. No. And to be honest, dude's a Band-Aid. I'm out. Yeah. On the price that they would need and they would want to see, no. Ain't happening. I'm sorry for all the fans of the Italian defenders with the flowing hair that took them back to the old school days. Nesta Maldini with the long hair there. It ain't happening. He's pretty damn injury prone. J Medical, as far as I know, that building is still standing until that thing is crumbled and down to the ground. No on the injury prone players, okay? We got enough
Beautiful
to worry
player,
about.
Though.
But
beautiful player, though.
Yes. I mean, when he's in there, yes.
Yeah, when he plays, yeah.
Yes. When he's in there, he's solid.
When he plays,
he's solid.
yeah,
Nobody could say otherwise when he's in there, for sure. I will agree.
And Bert, you talked about experience, but that also includes leadership as well. And I think we need some leadership. You got the young guys on social media, they're crying if they don't get a start. You need some of that leadership in the locker room, and that experience sometimes gives you some of that leadership. They don't have to play all the time, full 90, but some of that leadership would also be an asset to the experience.
I think it's just this, and it's interesting you brought that up because obviously we know Chico's one of the guys that who knows what the hell he's trying to say. I think we all have a good idea of what he's trying to say after that. But here's the thing. The consistency just hasn't been there this season, and it's continued now with Tudor. And I think we can all see it, and we'll get into the lineup and everything, but it's just questionable. It's not right. And I'll never fault a guy for wanting to get in there. I mean, would you rather a guy that's like, okay, yeah, I don't give a shit, and just sit here and I'll be gone in the summer or whatever? I kind of like the fact he showed, a photo of him celebrating like one of the goals scored for us. And I was like, yeah, one day they'll see, like a little chip on a shoulder from a player at Juve. I don't mind. And when Igor Tudor is the guy that says he's got the right mentality, that actually hits home a little bit more for me than when Motta does. Because Motta, I couldn't trust him at all for what he said versus what we saw. But if Igor walks in and it hasn't even been 5 training sessions and he's like, I like him, and he's got great mentality, he's got the right mentality, yeah, I'll take that. I'll take that, and I want more like that. We talked about in the green room, I don't ever think it made it to the air, but there was a situation and in one of the games, and I'm trying to remember the exact situation, but I remember being pissed off that nobody on our team, it was the Mancini. It was Mancini going through the back of Yildiz, his leg, clean as day, taking that chop. And I said, you know what? How come not a single soul at the next set piece in Roma's box? I don't care if you take the foul and the whole thing's shut down. How come nobody answered to it and said, hey, remember that chop? It doesn't happen again. Put your elbow into his trap. Do whatever the hell you have to do. Not a peep from us. So any player that has a little chip, I'll take it. I'll accept it. But I think there's a lack of consistency from the guys. We saw it especially with Motta. Now we'll get into it with this game and Tudor. In terms of guys that are starting. Colt Miners, yeah, that's the one glaring reason why I had a few extra Stellas last night. Because if that goes down and I got to see some more moonshots, okay, we're just racking up the bill on those game balls, boys. But first, before we get into this match, Juve Lecce, and as you can see right across the bottom, winning is the only option, everybody. There is no other option, okay? Get those likes up, but now it's time to go back in time. We're going to try and manifest something beautiful today that we can hopefully all enjoy as we go back to April 17th, 2005. Okay, and it was Juventus Lecce at home. Okay, and these are just some of the photos. Del Piero.
Look at these beauties. Look at these beautiful men.
This game finished up with a 5-2 Juventus victory. But the first goal scorer, a future Juventus player. 6 years later down the road, Mr. Vucinic would join the black and white. But this one also had a hat trick from Ibrahimovic, had a goal from Nedved, which was a beauty. We're going to talk about the kit. Don't worry about the kit. But you guys remember this guy? He scored the first one for Juve after we fell behind.
I'm dying here, man. I'm dying here.
Appia. But man, unreal. That was a great game to go back and archive. And I mean, the kits. This kit is a beauty. I always said underrated kit in the Juventus world. On the back of this particular one, Mr. Zambrotta. I was a huge Zambrotta fan.
Me too.
Massive Zambrotta fan. Yeah. But this little, they called him the, Total 90s, I think, back then with that little template. It's coming back for next year's home kit. It's quite similar. The collar pops up a bit when Adidas does it, but this one's more flat. But yeah, I always actually really, really like these ones. So, awesome kit. I always said underrated kit. Rate that kit out of 10, fellas. Paolo, what would you give this kit out of 10? Chat, out of 10.
A solid 7.
Solid 7? Trim?
Yeah, right away, that's the first thing. I think it was around 7.5. Solid kit.
I'm at an 8.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. I actually like the name sets on the back too. Like you can't tell on the
Yeah.
camera, but it had like that mesh look in the numbers. Awesome, awesome
Yeah.
kit. But hopefully we can manifest a 5-2 today. I would love to see 5 goals from Juve. Let's take the clean sheet too, okay? But we got some 8s out there for that kit. A lot of Zambrotta love. 8, 8, 7, 7, 8. 6.5 from Forza Juve. Okay. Dell's 6.5. Edgar, I hate pink on men's kits. Holy man. All right. I mean, it was Juve's first color, so take it easy. Take it easy.
Yeah.
Now, let's get to the game. Let's get to our game. We're going to talk about that consistency I was telling you about in terms of lineup. First, we're going to take a look at Lecce. First, we'll say goodbye to that wonderful squad that we had, okay? God, are any of those guys available right now today? I take a few of them, I'll tell you. So this is what we're set to see from Lecce, but it's listed as a 4-3-3, most likely going to be a 4-2-3-1. What it's going to come down to is who they want to see at one of those midfield profiles. But they're very much going to look to hit us on the counter like they did in our previous match this season. Kristovic, he can create some problems. He's hit double digits for them. Outside of him, I don't think they have more than 3 guys with multiple goals. It's going to be very much him to strike. I don't have a lot of fear from them in offensive output. It's going to be up to us keeping it clean, keeping it sound, and taking care of business. This one has to be 3 points. I mean, they can line up really however the hell they want, and they're going to have some struggles, and we should be able to take advantage of matchups either on the left side or the right side in terms of quality. That's just the reality of the situation. It's not to be disrespectful to Lecce at all, but they will play the game that we expect. Clamp down, be physical, take space away quickly, and try to earn some dispossession and hit us quickly. And yes, Kristovic is going to be the one that they will look to spring forward. So we'll see. For us, well, here we go with some consistency. Question marks. Cope Miners in that role again. 1 game apparently was the big plan. Shut him down for 1 game, work off the bench 1 game, and all is fixed. Huh. The 5 or 6 Stellas I had yesterday claimed that would not be the case. Cambiasso. Should Cambiasso be in there, fellas? Or did he just get back too soon for you to start this game? What do you think?
Personally, I think I'm okay with him starting on the bench today. I got a little frustrated with him last game, and I know I'm trying to take into account that he's just coming back from injury, but just something seems off with him. He seems a little bit inconsistent this year for me. So I wouldn't mind seeing him come off the bench. So I'm okay with it if this is the starting lineup. The one thing I wanted to point out about this lineup was, and shout out to Aldo in the chat because he mentioned it, but Bashirotto on Lecce is practically a bodybuilder. He's going to cause fits for Vlahovic today. If Vlahovic is starting, he cannot go up against a physical CB. So we're going to need to keep the ball on the outside. I would personally start Colo today. He can kind of handle the physicality a little bit better, not by much. I know it's not saying much. He's had his struggles as well, but that guy's going to cause Vlahovic fits. And I can already close my eyes and picture this guy arguing and yelling at the ref for every little tug and grab and kind of, they come together for the ball. It's going to be a nightmare. So I don't know. I would definitely take Vlahovic out of the starting lineup if it was me.
Yeah, I mean, you could probably see it heading that route. I'd say he actually deals with the physicality better than Colomouani, but Colomouani will probably evade it better. So not handle the physicality better, but handle it differently, which might ultimately be better. And I think maybe that's what you're trying to imply. That's how I kind of look at it and feel. But I am going to be quite honest. it, despite what we get out of those two up there, the struggles are still going to be the creation to those guys. The creation to Vlahovic, to Kolomuani. I thought I had it up there. These guys, both of them, haven't scored in quite some time, man. If you're looking at Kolomuani, even after the red-hot start, it's been crickets, and Vlahovic, it's been quite obviously as he was drawn to the bench towards the end of Motta's time. So, yeah, some interesting calls. But, Paulo, what do you think when you see this lineup? What do you like? Is there something you don't like?
Well, as usual, like last week, I like the three at the back. I really like how Di Gregorio was almost at the halfway line during the first half of the last game. We're playing a way higher line at the back, and I like that a lot. I would put Cambiaso in there, and I think Coop's in there because maybe Tudor knows he is a better player than he's seen. When I look at this lineup, I get frustrated because I don't see a lot of options. I don't see a lot of depth. And I think Weah and McKennie are great subs, but when they're maybe starters and things get so thin after them, it's really discouraging. So I would put Cambiaso in there. I think he's a better player. And I think you don't have many other options. I think Duchan's got to be in there because Tudor's put his money on him. And I agree, he's a little more physical. If either of them had to be physical, he's a little more determined.
Yeah. I'm going to be quite honest. There's some things here. And again, it goes back to that consistency. And if you're a player and you're seeing some of this unfold, I could understand frustrations coming up. Thuram, let's see if he does in fact get the start. Obviously, he was dealing with some fatigue, muscle fatigue. That's a couple guys in a week. And just from training, playing once a week. So Tudor was coming in hard. I said this was one thing we would have to watch. He was running double training sessions for all of last week. Yeah, that makes me very sketchy with J Medical probably just licking their chops at job security. Cambiaso, I'd probably start Cambiaso, and the reason is because McKennie's just looked gassed. It's okay to not start McKennie for a game against Lecce.
Please.
It'll be okay, you guys. Give the guy a break. For Nico, I'm fine with moving Nico up to continue off of what was trying to get done in the last match. Yes, a lot fell apart at his feet in terms of that final pass. He couldn't quite find the mark.
Yeah.
But when you throw him back into a wing-back position, you change the dynamics of everything that was worked on, that was happening in that game. It's impossible to get momentum in that way. So I would have Cambiaso there. I would have Weah on the right. And I would play Nico up there instead of Cope Miners. One game will not fix what is going on with Cope Miners, okay? When he comes into the game, he plays out of the midfield, period. We're at that point. That's where he provided his best so far this season. That's where he should go from. In terms of the rest, I'm great with Chico coming in against tired legs. No problem with it. I would start probably Kolomuani in this one. But I'm actually not opposed to Vlahovic either. I just think Vlahovic has to be on a very, very short leash, and it should have been explained to him like, dude, you need to keep your head in the game. The second I see you going off on something stupid, complaining wise or whatnot, if I start you, if I'm Tudor and I start you, you're gone. I'm giving you the hook. I have next to no tolerance for that. Seriously. But the thing is, when you look at this lineup, and this is why we get into those inconsistencies, who has the question marks around their future? Vlahovic does, but we're trying to sell him. Kolomuani's just here on a loan. Chico Conceição's here on a loan. And there is this thought that's been going around for a while that they are going to play the back seat because of that. And Juve is going to try and do this and try and force these guys that are kind of long-term, this Nico Gonzalez, this Cope Miners, like they're going to try to get these guys rolling at all costs. That might be it. And that might be one of the things that actually comes above Tudor. Because some people are already highlighting, maybe it's above. That's like, man, you got to go with these guys. We need Vlahovic showcased, and we need to get Cope Miners rolling. Like, who knows? Only those involved. But I think we can all agree there's some questions to be asked with the lineup. So maybe something else is going on. I don't know. At the end of the day, just win. Just win today. It's the only thing that matters. It's the only option we have. Has to be 3 points right now. You've got Lecce, Parma, Monza before back-to-backs with Bologna and Lazio. The aim is 9. 100% 9. Some went as far to say that Tudor played for that draw against Roma in the second half because he feels confident in taking the max points on the trot in these 3. Dangerous game to play when you're walking into this situation around Juve. But maybe he felt that way. Let's see. We're going to get into predictions. We got key stats. Just because Tony's not here, we're still setting the Tony. I got the official numbers, okay? But key stats, Juve undefeated 35 of their last 38 matches in Serie A. Undefeated in their last 9 against Lecce in all competitions. Juve have kept 4 clean sheets in their last 6 league games at home. Lecce have failed to win their last 8 Serie A matches. When you get to set the Tony, well, the official, Luca Zufferli. So whenever you get a team that's trying to stay alive in the relegation battle, you're going to get these guys that don't have the most experience in Serie A. So the majority of Luca Zufferli's experience is Serie B with 29 appearances. There, he carries a 5.4 yellow per game average, 9 reds dished out, and 12 PKs. So very close to the 50% mark of getting a PK in Serie B. In Serie A, he's got 22 appearances, so pretty close there. 2.9 yellows per game in Serie A, 2 reds, and only 4 PKs. So it's very much a let them play type situation we're probably looking at. So advantage us or advantage on the team that's going to try and clamp down and play physical and take spaces away. We'll see. But that's what we're dealing with. And now, prediction time. Final score 2 tiebreakers, fellas. Who wants to lead us off in the predictions? Trim? Paolo? Who wants to lead us off?
I'll go.
Yeah.
I started off the show being enthusiastic. I still am. I really hope Thuram plays. I think 3-0 is my call, and I've never called Juve to get 3 goals, and I don't even know if I can't even remember when I thought they'd get 3 goals. But I think they'll do well today. I think they'll be productive. They're going to really put the squeeze on this team. I think we're going to get a set piece goal, which I'm looking forward to. I want to see something off the corner. I think Coop's going to get his leg going. So I pick Coop to score, and I pick Coop to get an assist on a corner. Someone's going to head it in from a corner, I think. So
we're going to add to that massive tally of 3 set-piece goals this season. I like it. We're going to bring it up to 4, baby.
It's due.
Let's do it. I like that. I hope
and
that
Coop's delivery from the corner has been excellent. I mean, that guy's got an excellent corner. So
I hope that prediction comes true. I hope it comes true. Trimmy, what do you got?
So it's a must win. So we're going to win this game. I'll go with, I think it's going to be a kind of chippy / sloppy kind of affair because I think they're just going to try to muck it up with us. Like you said, be physical. So it's going to be kind of hard for us to build up so not as much chances or service. So I still think we managed to keep a clean sheet. I'll go 2-0. 2-0 Juve. I'm going to say a goal from Kolo Muani in the second half as a substitute. And I'm going to go with first one. We'll go with Keenan Yildiz will get the first goal for us. And then for second tiebreaker, we'll go with let's go with 4 yellows total for the game. So it'll be not as many stoppages or cards given out today.
I think I'm going. Well, let's take a look at how everybody's feeling out here. We got Edgar with a 4-0. Roast Beef's got 1-0 good guys. Giardina's got 2-0 Juve. Aldo's got 1-0. George got 4-1. Fede's got 4-0.
Nice.
With a Kelly goal. Woo!
All right, let's go.
Let's
Kelly.
go. Let's
Love
go.
to know the betting odds on that, but it's got to be pretty high.
That's got to be some pretty high odds there. We got a 1-1 from Iorio. You just need a few Stellas. Let me tell you. They'll pick you up. They'll cheer you up. They'll turn that into a optimistic prediction. I'm going to go 2-0. I don't know. I felt 2-0 for like the build up into this game and everything. I think it's going to be 2-0. I'm going to go 2-0 with both goals coming in the first half for Juve. So I'm going to go 2-0. Both goals first half. One is from the spot, and it'll be Vlahovic. So we will get PK. Vlahovic. And I'm going to say that... he's got a 5.4 average yellow in Serie B, 2.9 in Serie A. But I'm going to say he dishes out 5. I'm going to say we see at least 5 yellows in this game. I just have a feeling. We're going to come out hard, guns blazing, and try to put the stomp on like we did in the last game. The start's going to be furious, and they won't be able to handle it like Roma did. And that's where we will strike, and they'll get some yellows in the mix. Yeah, I'm confident with that. Very confident with that. Am I going to put some bets? Well, I'll send a text to Fajoli, see if he can put it in for me, all right? All right, let's go with that. Storm the barn, everybody. Let's rock and roll. What do we got? Big reason for the issue with lack of leaders is that the guys that were supposed to grow into the next generation of pillars failed. Dusan, Fede, Swarit, easy. So Dusan, Fede, Delict, Rabiot, even Loca until this season. So Forza Juve is saying the big reason for the issue of lack of leaders, guys that were supposed to grow into that, failed. How do you guys feel about that?
Oh, yeah, it's it's a valid point. I failed is such a strong word because one in particular is still here, but you could see that he's on his way out in Dusha. So of the guys that are on that list, everybody's kind of come and gone, and Loca's still the only one here. So yeah, I mean, it just depends. Like, I think the biggest thing for me is who would be the one to choose those guys as the ones that are supposed to be the pillars, if that makes any sense. Like, at the time, I guess Allegri was here, right? So that's the thing. It depends how you look at it and who's making that call on who's supposed to be the pillars. I think for me personally, in any sport, leaders grow into that role. Like, some guys just walk into a locker room or a dressing room and you just know that they have it and they're the leader. They lead by example, and whether it's vocally or on the pitch, right? And I think Loca seems to be that kind of a guy. The other guys on that list, I never got the sense that not that they can't be leaders or didn't want to be leaders per se. Just the way they treat themselves, right?
And I mean, that's a big thing, is like Duchan's he was young, he is young, coming to us on that, still has to prove himself, whatnot. If you're looking at that to become Chiesa, I never really looked at as a leader.
Exactly.
Never struck me as that. De Ligt seemed like a guy that was, I will say De Ligt was one that
Could have.
seemed like he could come in. He could be one of those pillars for sure. That
Yeah.
one didn't work out. But I think it was better in the long one because I would take Bremer over De Ligt any day of the week. And I do think Bremer is a leader.
Yeah.
Rabiot, I mean, again, if we're signing guys on freeze to come in and be leaders, they would have to have that knowing when you sign them on a free. That was kind of one that maybe you were hoping would develop into that, but like he wasn't one of those leader guys when he came to us, right? So it's different on a free. If we're looking at free guys out there now, like we're not going to get them, but De Bruyne would probably carry some serious experience and leadership, and you'd be like, okay, that's a guy you could do it. Joshua Kimmich would be one that you'd be like, that guy could actually be a leader and is a leader. So, I mean, failed depending if that's what their plans for those guys were, but I don't think that all of those guys carried that plan. So I'd have to agree with Trim there. Paulo, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think De Ligt is a leader, and I think seeing him and Bremer together would have been nice actually. But and then Rabiot kind of does his own thing, and I think Loca's a little bit of a quiet leader. So we don't really have, other than Bremer, that person who's going to step up and get in your face. I think Gotti tries, and credit to him for all or nothing and taking the reins, even if he maybe isn't given them. But we don't really have that, and I don't really see a lot of leadership in those particular players, except De Ligt and maybe Loca a bit.
Yeah. It's one of those things, right? I need some leadership, need some experience, and I need some assholes. I can't watch a 20-year-old get chopped by Gianluca Mancini and nobody step up. Like, that needs to stop. That needs to stop. And what I did the same thing last year. Remember when that mupp Malinovsky and what he did to Yildiz? And I said the same thing. I said, who steps up? Who goes and protects our phenom? Not a soul. Crickets. That's pathetic. Come on, you guys. We need some assholes in there, some leaders, some experienced guys that would do something. Come on. What do you think about giving Douglas Luiz a whirl in one of the 10s? No. I mean, you could try it, but I think if you're playing with the one striker and Yildiz there, you got to have guys that carry more versatility, a little bit more pace in there, because they have to also expand the width. They can't always be narrow. If that was your plan and you're going to run Yildiz wild, left to right, okay, that could maybe work as Luiz just holding in that space, but it doesn't really work overall with the plan. So for me, he plays in the heart of the midfield and kind of controls everything. That's just me. What do you guys think?
Yeah, for me, I think you touched on it. I think his asset is like vision and ball movement. So he's better off suited in like the pivot role because his distribution is top notch. We've seen it maybe not as much here with Juventus, but even at Aston Villa, his previous club, like you could see his ball control, his ball movement, just like a general working the pitch in the middle there, right? So he's better suited out there. To your point, he lacks speed and pace. So from your 10s and in those two roles, like one's going to be on the left, one's going to be on the right, and then drifting centrally as well. So yeah, I'd rather see him in a pivot role personally.
I would rather see Adzic any day of the week over Luiz in that role, and I think it's a damn shame we haven't seen him attempted in this. And this is before Tudor. This is before even Tudor's time of trying Adzic with some solid minutes. You know, Paulo, what do you think?
Yeah, Luiz I agree with you guys. Luiz needs guys in front of him. He needs Conceição, Yildiz, Dusan, or Kolomwani. He needs people to move that ball to. I agree with what you guys said.
Yeah. Yeah, and Adzic, man, get the guy.
I know. Get that guy on the bench. Give him a shot.
Give him a shot. Give him a
Especially
shot.
against Lecce or something, a team where you can put that
Yeah.
strong kid in there and push back on some of these defenders.
17th in the table, if I'm not mistaken. Lecce, like by like a couple points. If you can't throw him in there at that moment, I mean, I don't get. Yeah, they're safe from relegation by 2 points. 17th. Come on. We're going with Cope Miners again. Force feeding this thing. And every time Adzic goes down, he's bagging goals. Didn't he bag a brace the last time he went down to Next Gen? Come on. What's this guy got to do? Jesus. Just a few minutes out here. He's panhandling at the stadium. Just a little sound like just a few minutes, please. Just a few minutes. Come on. Off topic, but what are your thoughts on the Champions League game? Oh, so Paolo, I got some solid texts from Paolo in the Champions League recap at nights. I love that because I'm the same. I'm working, and then at night, you can just kind of watch the games. I'm doing stuff with the kids, and I'm trying to like get the games going in the background. Declan Rice with 2 free kick goals. What are we even talking about, man?
Ridiculous.
That was the one though from like dead center that just looked like it was gonna go out to the corner and just swooped in. I remember, so I caught obviously friends of the show, but Italian Football Podcast. The argument between Nima and Carlo was killing me. That Carlo's like, that's a goalie mistake, and I'm like, excuse me. And he's just like, if you set up your wall and you get beaten on the side that you're defending, any goalie coach will tell you that that's a mistake on your... And he is right to that extent, but you have to factor in the absolute sheer velocity of that shot. To have that much spin on it as well is crazy. And you would have to pick that ball up by hand, get on a step, and actually place it to get it any better in that upper 90 there. Crazy goal. I'm not faulting, especially not the goalkeeper of that caliber. That goal was disgusting. Crazy. But I did not see Real Madrid getting spanked like that. All I could say is from watching those games, I still believe Barca or PSG pulls it out. As I said before this kind of round started, I still feel like one of those teams will do it. But it really shows you how far off we are from getting our shit together when you watch those well-oiled machines play. Right?
Yeah. Well, one thing I just want to kind of add, which would be pretty ironic and a little bit funny to me, is if this is the year that PSG actually gets it done, the year after Mbappe leaves, and he was supposed to be the savior of that club, the one to lead them to said UCL trophy, and all the big three leave, and then they go right to the final and end up winning. Like, to me, it'd be pretty funny. But one thing I also wanted to kind of touch on, because for us Italians, it's almost like sacrilege to ever hold an English player in high regard. But I've always had a soft spot for Declan Rice. I don't know why, but I've just kind of always liked the way he played. So to see him do that and score those 2 goals, I was like, wow, like, not surprised. Like, he's a good player. I don't know, for me.
What a way to get your first free kick goals too, eh? As Alex P mentioned out there, those are his first free kick goals. But Paolo, let's go, man. Have at her. You were enjoying those games.
Yeah, I was texting you, and I was pining for Ancelotti. I was sending Bert text saying, I really hope we get a good young group together who can grow and play fast and play hard, but look organized and on the same page the whole time, like Barca does, like PSG does. They lost Messi, then they lost Neymar, then they lost Mbappe, and they replaced these players with young guys who are going to all work on the same game together, work hard, work together, run their butts off. They're playing great football. Those 2 teams are young. They're exciting. And if you look at Barca's striker, look at the old man up top, Lewandowski. Like, come on, that's experience, that's leadership. He's having the time of his life with these young players around him.
Yeah, he's got Rafinha and Yamal on each side, just cooking up
really
a
enviable.
storm for him.
It's so enviable. The coaching's great. The players are great. The selection of the players is fantastic. And
Yeah.
Kvaratskhelia, he's looking good. I'm really jealous of these two teams, and I enjoy watching them because it's something it's something as a fan you can enjoy. But I pine for a squad that plays that way. Oh gosh,
Yeah, just
a
imagine
level
like an
above.
actual cohesive, well-oiled machine that can like just turn it on at the snap of some fingers,
Unbelievable.
man. And I still say I admire Luis Enrique. I'd in a heartbeat if he ever got the. This comes up in our AJC Army chat all the time, and like I, I'm telling you, if he ever became available and the option was there, he would definitely be a coach. I admire him as a man, as a human,
Yeah.
from some of his life struggles and everything that's gone on. Like the guy's he's a champion, legit, just a champion.
And
The
the
way he
Barca
handles his players, incredible too.
and the Barca coach isn't bad either.
Yeah, Hansi
Yeah,
Flick has done a
yeah,
really
Yeah,
good job
like for
there.
sure, for sure.
I'll take either of those
Um,
guys.
Bayern, they're
Let
in
me
the
down.
doghouse. You got to take care of business, Bayern. What are we doing here? Come on. Hey, let's go. Wake up. Second leg. I expect those to go in the net. I mean, they dominated, and just couldn't find goals. It was crazy, but it'll happen. I'm sure. So that was Soirit with the Champions League preliminary day for today. Yeah, we do have to do the preliminary day. I think I'm going to go for the refrigerator at the back to have him a shock or a basketotto. Okay, they got a big refrigerator
Oh
back
my
there.
god,
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go with him. I'm
what
not
a
so
man.
much worried about their attack as I am just us getting enough to take care of business. So, basketotto, you're the one. You're the one today. Now, let's keep it rolling. They should give Alberto Costa a crack at right wing back. He's got wheels for days, had more protection behind him with 3 CBs. I'm not opposed. Paulo?
Sure. I mean, against Lecce, you can try some of these things. I know every point matters. We need to win every game that's remaining. Maybe get a tie if we have to, but this is the kind of game you can give someone like that a shot. Maybe give him 15 minutes at the end if you have a lead.
Yeah. Trim?
Yeah, I when he played, I really like his speed, and
It's
that's something that we
fast.
can utilize on the flanks, right? And especially in a game like today, where they might be more exposed on the flanks, because we spoke about how in the middle they'll try to clog it up a bit, right? So wouldn't hurt to try to see him. I mean, I don't really know why he hasn't been getting playing time. And then there were rumors earlier in the week about how, maybe send him back to Portugal. You might have suitors there. I know you touched on it in your dailies, right? So, I mean, he's a young guy. It would be nice to just see these guys that you bring in just at least get a chance or.
It bothers me to hear of doing that like immediately
Yeah, for
because
sure.
you got him on such a low number, 13, around 13, just shy of 14 mil. I mean, he's got some attributes that could very much be used. He's getting highly touted in the Portuguese league where he came from. And even if a team like Porto is in fact interested, should kind of sound off some bells that are like, you know what? Maybe don't bail. Maybe make it a loan. But I see no reason why he can't get minutes in the actual squad. Like, especially if maybe you are looking to go to a setup like this, even as a fullback, he played in a back four, fullback before he came to us. In a wingback situation, he could arguably be tremendous. But to not even like give it a chance before just quickly saying goodbye is kind of disheartening. It's like you should at least know or see it through. The last thing you want is maybe he goes somewhere, maybe nothing comes of it. Maybe absolutely nothing comes from this guy. But he was touted and Porto is interested. It'd be a shame should he go to a team like Porto and then his value hits 40 or 50, and it's just like, well, you pissed it away. And in the meantime, you kind of need fullbacks because Weah is still a forward. I mean, he's turned into a utility for us, but this guy's like legit at that role. So it's just kind of raising some questions. You have Savona in the background who doesn't carry the offensive prowess that Costa does, but Costa doesn't carry the defensive solidity that Savona would. So maybe a Juve of, new battling the Juve of old in terms of what they want to do. I don't know. Like, we've felt for years, like we just talked about all these teams in Champions League. Does Juve actually care about how they play as much as we maybe think they do? You know what I mean? Like, what's our vision? Do we want to be a shutdown team like we always have been? Do we want to go for something that brings a lure to our game? I don't know. There's a lot of questions. I don't know.
Yeah, I also just personally don't like the optics. I mean, as a former player, as you would be a former player as well, Berto, like players around the world are going to notice that Juve's picking up guys, and like if anyone's ever interested in our club and they see like, oh, someone gets picked up and then within like 6 months they're out again, it's like that's not a good look. I don't know, like on the optics from that. If I'm a player like and I'm maybe considering looking at Juve, it's like, well, clearly they don't seem to want to hold on to guys even for just a year just to see if I can prove my worth to the club, right? It's like they're so quick to turn around and let guys go, and that kind of speaks to the mishandling or the mismanagement of players this season overall with our club, right? And I know seemed like it's mostly on Mota, but I don't know, we're starting to raise questions about Juntali too, right? So
Juntali's got question marks for sure. When Mota had that much leash, that's where Juntali takes all the heat too. I mean, you shoot yourself in the foot by saying goodbyes that didn't need to be. And then this is one of those situations because Costa might have just been legit a safety net signing that they don't actually care about, that they don't actually. I remember seeing Mota talk to him immediately in a training session. Obviously, it was around Champions League, the list and stuff, not making it the cut, but even just opportunities. It's crazy to me when you have guys floating in and out of decent performances and lacking consistency that we just can't give shots. We talked about Adzic earlier. Costa's kind of another one. But Weah's been okay, like ahead of him. Weah's been good. So I haven't had any concerns with Weah. So that probably ties into it as well, right? Is there any particular youngster you guys want to see at Juve? And I don't mean Yamal or Due, etc. Someone that's not so much on the radar right now. Paolo, any youngsters that you're hoping for?
I need to think about that.
I've got one that's not, like, it doesn't seem feasible or whatnot, but obviously Nico Paz would be one I would love to see at Juve.
Well, I don't know if you'd consider him, like he's still young, obviously, but I don't know if you'd consider this. But for me, it's always been Bellingham, and that's not feasible. But that's if we're just going off the board in terms of youngsters worldwide, who you'd like to see. Like for me, it'd be him because he's just world class. Like I need guys like that. If we're trying to go like more off the board. It's hard to say. I'm sure there's a few scattered throughout Serie A, Serie B, like Italian youngsters that would be nice.
Carmada. I think you mean Camara. Is it Camara? Camarda,
yeah.
That would be a good one. That'd be a good one. I was pretty hyped up when we got the links there that there was maybe contract issues and there could be a move happening there. Camarda would have been a solid one I'd be on. What do you think, Paulo? Any youngsters there?
I'm trying to...
Rayan Cherki getting a ton.
Yeah.
Rayan Cherki.
I'm not sure. I don't have one because I've got names floating around for all different positions for different reasons. And I'm so confused by our management and our coaching situation and our vision that I don't know. It's a great question, but you probably need to do your homework and sit on it to offer something valuable. I don't have an answer for that. I don't know. I don't know
I'm
who to
surprised
bring
no
in
one said
nowadays.
Dean Hoyson. Come on, you guys. What's going
I
on?
know I was going to say him, but we had him, and I don't want to go there again.
Surprise the Army. Nobody. Come on.
At that scab.
Those are free shots. Free shots at June until you all
What a
waiting to
mess.
make it. You've been making them all season. Come on. Let's go.
It's
What's
like
going on,
it's like
Army?
Juntali's 14.
Saturday
and
morning,
he's
it's
had the
early.
mansion. He's had the mansion
Yeah.
to himself. The parents have been away in Europe all summer, and he's just doing whatever he feels like. Mota's his little friend from down the street, and they just made a mess of everything. Now Mota's gone, and Juntali's still peeing in the pool and cooking pizzas and doing what he wants. God, we need the parents home, man.
Is that frowned upon though? Just for records, peeing in the pool. What frowned upon? Come on, everybody's done it. Listen,
Swim with your mouth closed, I guess.
exactly. Now, get those likes up, everybody. We got some more Storm the Barns we're going to fire in here, and we've got Trez coming up next. If you look at Tudor's past teams, he always prefers mobile attackers to target men. Example, Sanchez at Marseille. It feels like he's got instructions to play Dusan no matter what. What do you think? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, there's so many things that run through my head when this comes up. Like, I mean, we can't fuck around, people. Like, we need the points. Like, we have to qualify for top 4. To think that somebody other than the coach, even if he is a caretaker or not, is making those decisions terrifies me. You guys agree?
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree 100%. I mean, we don't have the luxury of messing around, or, in this case, specific to Dusan, is it just to raise his value? Well, he can raise his value if he's playing better, but I mean, we can see the way he's playing. He's just, it's not there. It's seems like a player that's just kind of run its course with a club, and he's just ready to move on. He's trying his best, but
yeah,
just doesn't seem like, it doesn't seem like he's got it within him to finish strong and then, see what happens in the offseason. But yeah, like Tudor's definitely made mention that he's one of his favorites. Like, he admired Dusan. He always thought that he was a top striker. Now, whether that's lip service for the media or he actually means it, I mean, he keeps playing him. So
I mean, do we think Tudor is the kind of type that management could tell him who to play, even if he's coming in as a caretaker?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm buying it. Paulo, what do you think when you hear things like this?
So, like I said, nobody's home at the mansion, and Juntali's just like drinking all day, going, "Hey, yeah, eat whatever you want. Yeah, go try on my dad's
got Sleepy
suits.
Ferraro in the corner there having a nap.
Yeah, sleep on the couch, do what you want." So, yeah, I don't think he's being told to do anything. I think he's when you hear him in his press conferences, you can feel that he just doesn't want to mess around. He doesn't want to talk too much. He wants the guys to be compact, physical, play high. And I think he just knows what he gets with Dusan. I think if you look at Dusan's body of work, you know what his issues are. Dusan actually was quiet and not complaining last game, whereas the game before, he was crying so often it was actually getting really unnerving. So I think he just knows what he gets in Dusan. He's seen the goals. He's seen the will, I guess, of whatever form it is. And I think he's put the guy in there who he knows what he can get out of it.
The Balkan boys. The Balkan boys sticking together. The Balkan boys. Sure.
But what are your options, too, other than Kolomwani? Like,
well, we talked about it. It's like, I mean, you got a guy that's on loan that's maybe going back, or you got a guy you're trying to sell that's, I mean, neither one of them has scored in a while. And the chances aren't ramping up, so Tudor's got to figure that out first and foremost. Otherwise, I don't really think it matters who the hell you put up there. We got to create more. Have to create more. It's got to get more dangerous, and that's why I don't like the pick of Cope Miners going there in that position. But hopefully it works out. It is Lecce, no disrespect to them, but yeah, I just disrespected you, okay? We got to take care of this.
I hope we shoot from outside the box. Like, I hope Coop's in there to take some shots from outside the box, get some rebounds. So I hope he's going to be really aggressive and telling the guys to just let it fly today. I hope so.
Yeah. Giratina say we need enforcers, not assholes. I don't want someone like Rovella completely. Rovella is a great midfielder, solid midfielder. Take him in a heartbeat. Go unhinged and hurt the team. Rovella's not an unhinged player. I would have to strongly disagree. We need a guy who will lay down the law without being a complete lunatic. When you talk about being an asshole, I'm going to name some assholes for you because I don't think Giratina 70 understood. Sergio Ramos, an asshole.
Bonucci.
Asshole. One of the most successful center backs. Okay, was also, before he became an asshole, was a fullback. Yeah, that's an asshole. Solid player. Those are the kind of assholes. You know who was seen as an asshole during his time with us? Do you know how many guys were seen as assholes while playing for us? Bonucci, Chiellini, not liabilities. I don't think you understood. Those enforcers, enforcing is what your assholes do. Mandzukic was an asshole. Lichtsteiner was an asshole. Ibra is an asshole. Was an asshole. Like
Vidal was an asshole too.
You need assholes. Right now, the problem is like we just got a bunch of taints. Okay? Caught between the dick and the assholes. All right? So we need, make up your mind. You're a dick or you're an asshole. Let's go. But we need some, okay? Jesus.
Yeah. I did not expect that.
This team is soft. This team is soft. A bunch of taints. Edgar Davids. Oh, man.
Oh,
it's an enforcer.
Remember Gattuso? Gattuso used to run. Oh. He would step on you. That guy would run over you and step on you both ways.
Dude. Yeah. We're not talking about going out and getting Vinnie Jones, for Christ's sake, okay? We're talking about, like, legit footballers, like, but assholes, the assholes that we have were some of the best. Some of my favorite players, those guys that were... Delivio was an asshole to play against. Mm-hmm. He was, even Camoranesi was an asshole to play against.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, well, and the one common theme with all those guys... The one common theme with all those guys you mentioned, Berto, hard to play against.
Exactly. And that's what I mean by, like, you don't want to play against these guys. Who brings that right now on the current roster? Who do you look across from and you're like, man, I don't want to play against that guy? Maybe Bremer, if he's in the lineup. Yeah. If you're an opposing attacker, you're like,
Bremer
I don't want to go up against Bremer. Gatti, to some degree.
Gatti. Yeah.
That's it. That's not enough. That's not enough. We need more. We need more. But it's just interesting how you read that because enforcing is what they do. But this team, we've called it for a while, like they just a little soft. It's a little soft, but leadership, experience, all that will help. All that will help. You guys, we're almost ready to wrap up. Get those likes up. I got to ask Paulo and Trim if they have any Storm the Barns that they want to bring up right now. This is your shot. Come up with one. I believe I have one. Okay, but first I'm going to give you guys a shot. Chat, last chance. Fire away. And I think Giratina's got one more in here. It says, think Ancelotti leaves Real Madrid if they head out of the Champions League. I actually think he's leaving regardless. Yeah. I think he's done this year with Real.
I think Pepe might leave too, even though he got an extension.
You think so? Mm-hmm. This year's been a little bit of a whirlwind for him, Wasn't smooth sailing and not everything going as planned there.
I do have a storm in the barn, but I want to say I remember those days when Chiellini used to elbow a guy in the face and then apologize and hug and kiss him all the way as the ball was headed back to the other team's end. Classic.
Classic.
So my storm in the barn would be who could you have as a coach next year if you could choose one, and try and think of somebody who's available or potentially available, and don't include Klopp or Fleck, because I don't think they're going to be available. So try and pick someone who's available maybe, but still dream a little bit. Because I just want to get our heads out of the Conte space or nothing, even though I like Conte. I just want us to think out of the box a little bit.
So no Conte, basically.
Well, I just don't want our world to be Conte and whatever comes with him.
So just basically, who would you pick if he's not in the mix?
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yes, and not Klopp, because I don't think Klopp's leaving his post.
Realistic, but not Conte. Okay.
Yes.
Because word on the street is it's done for Conte, but I'll leave that alone.
No.
I
can't wait to see Lukaku in a Juve shirt next year. I can't wait to see 1-0 wins. Oh my God. Anyway,
I bet you he passed Vlahovic's score tally this season, but that's another story. I would take. I mean, it really depends who comes available. Pioli doesn't do much. Mancini didn't do much for me. These names were all pretty status quo. Gasperini, I would never take over like Ancelotti. If Ancelotti became an option, I know how it went down first time and stuff. I probably seriously consider a guy like that, but I do wonder. I don't know if the team's right for him. You know? You look at that Everton spell, the Napoli spell, and I kind of feel like the team's not ready for Ancelotti. It's the same kind of concern I have around Zinedine Zidane if he were to become an option. So, who's a builder? Who's a builder if one of the best ones out there isn't available? Who would be the right guy? It's a tough one if we take him out of there. I do not want De Zerbi anywhere near my team. John, with all due respect, man, yeah. And he did say De Zerbi is good with second place. Yeah, so no. We don't want participation ribbons. I don't know. Who do you guys want?
Because we're going to deal with this summer, right? We're going to deal with this summer. We're going to be dealing with this next year. I don't know if Tudor's a guy or not. I don't know if I have an answer. Honestly, I would probably take Amorim from Man U but they won't fire him for another year or so. But I would take Amorim because I think he's fantastic. And I know Ancelotti doesn't have the players to do what he does, but I also think Ancelotti would help bring in players. And I think Ancelotti would be a great steady hand. And who knows, maybe he would like to try something a bit different.
Yeah.
I would probably take him or I'd take Pep even too.
Yeah, I don't know if Pep can handle not having the pockets
300.
emptied.
Yeah, I know, 300 million a year to do what he wants.
Ancelotti, I would like. I question if the team. Trim, who do you want to see if it's not Conte?
So I have two answers to this. One being like not realistic that it won't happen, and one being I never thought that I would ever go down this road, but of the options and the choices seems like we could actually get. So with my unrealistic choice, it would be Xabi Alonso. I really like Xabi Alonso. I like his game. I like the way his coaching style. But I just don't see it happening because if Ancelotti leaves, he's replacing Ancelotti at Real Madrid. And for my quote-unquote realistic option, someone I think we could get, I never thought I would say this, but I would actually go down the road of joining Lecce FC, and I'd probably say Italiano. I don't know, like, if it's not Conte, that like, the way to justify it, if it's not Conte, we can't choose him for the sake of this question. He's the only manager right now in Serie A that I feel could do the job. But then again, now I'm starting to go down the road of, well, I wanted Motta. We all saw how Motta turned out, right? So it's like
Italiano for me is like flavor of the week thing again, all over again.
Yeah.
I need a serious one.
Yeah.
I don't need
know.
the IFTV pick for coach, man. I need like the CV, man. I
Yeah.
need the CV.
Yeah.
It's like we fall into these traps where it's just like, this team's doing great.
Yeah.
But it's a completely different world. It's a completely different world. Italiano would have a long way to go before I even consider. I made the mistake of jumping in with the Motta thing, and it was a mistake. And I ain't into it. Alex P, I know you keep harping off on Tuchel, but dude, he's got the England job. Okay, he's literally locked in to the England job. Tuchel would maybe be into the mix, but yeah, I can't get into the big the hype trains on guys that are unproven right now. We need to get our shit together, and we need to get our shit together fast.
That's also why
I don't want to go from one experiment to another.
That's also why, though, like, gun to my head, if I can't choose Conte, Conte's the guy for me right now. And again, I totally understand where Paulo's coming from too, with wanting to think outside of the box. And like, I know what comes with Conte, but you and I, Al, this summer, we did so many shows with Omar about, okay, getting Motta and wanting something different prior to his hire. And Conte was brought up, and we were kind of unanimously saying, like, you know, I'd like to stay away from Conte for now because we know that it's going to be short term. We wanted a long-term project. I've blown that shit up so fast now. I don't care. I want to win. I want to win right now. I want to win as soon as possible. If he comes for a year, we win a Scudetto when he leaves. I don't care. Everything with that whole situation in ADL just seems like it's like the pot's stirring. It's kind of like about to boil over. He's pretty much ripe for the taking now. Again, I know it's not long term, but I just want to win. I just want to build something, create a culture, and then kind of go from there. I don't know. It goes against everything this summer, but I mean, we saw how it went with Motta, and it's tough. I don't really see anybody else out there. I don't know.
It kind of sucks. If it's Conte or nothing, that really sucks because he's going to mess up that roster big time.
I don't think it is. I don't think it is. So, hey, we're going to have some fun here, okay? Let's flip this whole coach thing. We're going to go make your best 11 with Juve. But you can only use one country once. You can't use the same country multiple times. So take a minute, think about it. Okay? Think about it. Everybody in the chat, let's have some fun as we wind things down. We were reminiscing about the squad in 2005 and whatnot. Let's go. Let's see what we got. I can even use a spinner here and maybe randomly generate a country. The first one is Germany. Ooh. So you got to use Germany in here.
I can't even think of one.
I know. I'm trying to. That's one country we haven't had a lot of players from.
That's the one. Yeah. Of all the countries that come out first.
Nice job, Bert. Jeez.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I'll
make it easy. If we go with just Italy to start, I think where I get torn is between Buffon, because, I mean, in terms of keepers, it's pretty obvious he's the easy choice. But do you sacrifice Buffon for Del Piero? Or
if we go Germany, I mean,
actually Khedira, yeah, I guess that's
Kohler.
Yeah.
Khedira, Emre Can, yeah, those are all good shows.
Maybe you throw Can. I'd go Khedira or.
Can we leave Germany off our team? Like, can we just not put a Germany?
Okay, well, let's skip. We'll call it a mulligan.
What a waste!
Call it a mulligan. Let's keep it rolling then. So no Germany. Let's see.
Just because we don't have the players to make a Juve 11, come on.
Oh my God! Well, it's not getting any. This spinner's just going. I mean, like Finland. What are we doing here?
My God! Oh wow! This is supposed to be fun.
Yeah, you know what? Screw the spinner. Best 11. You can only use a country once. Who's in goal? Do you use your Italian in goal? Do you give it to Poland and Szczesny?
We've had a couple of good
Van
Italian
der
goals.
Sar? No, but then that takes out Dutch. No, I can't do that. You
Van
know
der
what?
Sar was awful for us too.
Tech might be the play. Tech
I
might be the
think
play.
I'm probably gonna go Tech there. So Wing of Winter wants Buffon, Peruzzi, but you're still using Italy there. I don't know if I'm gonna use Italy there, even though Buffon. I mean, I'm absolutely having Del Piero in there. So spoiler alert, that's where Italy will go for me. So I will give that to
Zoff as well.
Szczesny.
Zoff was pretty good.
Yeah.
So
I'll
yeah,
give
we
that
got to
to
go to
Szczesny.
Szczesny for sure.
Tech in the
Right
smoke.
back.
No.
Right back. That's where I take the Swiss
Lichtsteiner.
Express. I'll take Lichtsteiner out there. I don't want to use France
No.
there. I don't want to use Italy there.
No.
Love Lichtsteiner. I will
No
use
Brazil there.
Switzerland there.
Yeah.
Torricelli, Tech, Cristiano Thuram, Quadrado, or Lichtsteiner. I'm going to go Lichtsteiner there. Center backs.
Mm-hmm. I'd put Bremer in there. That's my Brazilian play.
That's actually a good play. And Brazil's going to be one of those kind of like, it's like a joker because, you know, you save other countries and you get Bremer in there. That's a good shout.
I love Bremer.
Other CBs. What about using one off the mark there and getting old Benatia in there after that demon season in 17-18 when Bonucci left and he was just balling out? Try that. Montero. I would give it to Montero with Uruguay and Bremer. So Uruguay and Brazil represented.
I like
Yeah.
that.
Oh man, Montero and Bremer? Giddy up.
I like it.
Left back. Left back. Ooh. This is an interesting one.
Yeah, there's
I know Evra, but I don't want to use France there.
No, we got a lot of good French players too. Jeez.
yeah. I know where I'm going with my French player. That's for sure.
I'm trying to think. Left.
Is that a one cabal in there? We might have to, like only to save other countries for other positions.
Asamoah?
Oh, that's a good shout.
Ooh. Zabina. I'm out. Left back. Trying to keep the countries locked in. I really don't want to put Evra there. And we use some of the other countries that I could toss in there. I'm struggling on this left back. I might have to go to the well here.
Yeah, we'll do our rookie, our unproven rookie who played like 4 games or whatever he did, 5-6 games.
Let's wait on left back. Let's keep moving it forward. Then let's see what countries are
McKennie,
left.
that's funny. Yeah, put McKennie there.
The American, hey, you know what? That's actually funny. I'm going to leave it open for now. I'm going to get to the midfield.
Oh, gosh.
Edgar Davids, Dutch. He's going in there.
Yeah, for sure.
Zidane is going to be my French.
Yeah.
And
not for me. I want Platini.
Okay.
Platini's a god.
Nedved for Czech Republic, and he's going to get, that's going to be my midfield.
Nedved, David, Zidane, yeah, that's good.
Up top, I'm going to go Del Piero.
Yeah.
It's one of the Italians.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with, these are, obviously I'm doing it on guys I've seen play, everybody. So I want to go with Tevez.
Yeah, I was thinking for the Argentinian.
And then Cristiano as Portugal.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Ronaldo.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Ibra, can he play left back? Sweden. We got Sweden in the house. That's where I'm going to go with that. And that takes me back to left back. Some are picking Dybala over Tevez. Tevez for me was crazy.
Yeah, we didn't see him long enough.
Insane.
Yeah.
I'm trying to go to the
well
very here, special everybody.
Dybala is very special as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Health was the biggest thing with him, but
yeah,
Guys, we need a left back that doesn't take up any of the
Google.
countries we've used.
Might be McKennie. It might be the play. Weston represent the
Yeah.
U.S.
The wild
We might
card.
have to go way back, way back. I'm trying to think here.
Bentner.
Huh. All the ones I'm thinking of are like going way back are all Italian.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean,
Juve used to have a lot of Italians. That's true.
We played Thierry Henry at wing back, left wing back when he was around with us.
yeah.
My God. That's a
Jeez.
question too. Since we wrapped this up, that question came up. Is that the biggest fumble? Or was Marco Verratti the biggest fumble that Juve made? Because Juve made a few fumbles. Which is the bigger fumble to you? This came up in our AJC Army members chat for everyone that's members. We have a lot of fun in there. But what's the bigger fumble? Not picking up Verratti? I think it's a shame a player of his quality never played for like one of the top sides in Italy. But we literally had Thierry Henry. We're playing him at left wing back. And it was like, what? But at the time, Thierry Henry, we had a hell of a squad for him to break into up in the attack.
Yeah.
So it was like,
Exactly.
it was like, man, that is the biggest. Is that the biggest? Oh, we got so many questions. What's the biggest fumble, first off, for you guys? Verratti or Henry?
I might have to say Verratti only because at the time, I mean, I guess you can make a case like our midfield was stacked then too, but like just having him in there and then around the club, he could have got minutes would have been pretty special. To your point, Henry back then at the time, like even going into the early and mid 2000s, like would he have cracked the team and made like cracked the roster? Who knows, right? So yeah, I think I'd have to go with Verratti.
Paulo?
Yeah, I would too, but the Henri one is more newsworthy.
Yes. Yeah.
For what became pound for pound, player to player,
Yeah.
it feels like Henry should be the answer, right? Like it's just like
Right.
fuck, we had him. We had him. He was here in house. But again, wasn't getting in at that moment in time with the team. So it was more of just a awful timing. Awful timing to have that guy here. But
We've had so many spoils of riches of players.
Verratti in our backyard, man. Verratti in our backyard. That pisses me off, man. I love Verratti.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Verratti with the slight edge there. Yeah, that one stings. Still stings. You know what's going to take away the sting? Beating the piss out of Lecce today. And hopefully Juve can do that, all right? We got the predictions in. Paolo went 3-0. I went 2-0. Trimmy went 2-0. Let's see what goes down. I've got a birthday celebration for my daughter who just turned 4. Yesterday we had the family. Today we got the friends coming over. Everybody, sadly, I can't rock a watch along as much as I'd like to. I'm going to be on Bouncy Castle duty. And the reason I'm doing Bouncy Castle duty, there's a TV nearby so I can also watch at the same time, all right? So I'm going to make sure there's no skirmishes in there with the daycare kids, the Bouncy Castle, and I'm going to make sure that I watch Juve taking care of business. Tomorrow, post-match podcast, we're going to recap it all and have some fun. Today was a lot of fun. Trim, Paulo, always absolute pleasure. All right, Army, you guys are second to none. Get those likes up, drop some comments, share the content. Hope you had a good time, and we're back tomorrow to do it again, all right? And hopefully it's a victory show because, hey, it's the only option today for Tudor and Juve. 3 points. Get it done. I don't care how. Cope Miners, keep the shots on earth, okay? Let's start there. Okay, we'll dial it down to the goal for today. Just keep it in the planet. All right? And thank you, everybody, for the birthday wishes for my daughter, okay? Take care, everybody. As always, fino alla fine. Forza Juventus. Ciao tutti. Take care.